Welcome, compassionate viewers, to Animal World, our co-inhabitants. On today's show, we feature the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society, founded in 1977 by Captain Paul Watson in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. The Society is a non-profit environmental group that protects marine life, such as whales, seals, sharks, and various other fish species around the globe.
Right now we're trying to raise support for our organization to oppose shark finning and to protect the whales and oppose illegal fishing activity. And we've gone from the Netherlands to Belgium to Great Britain to here, and then we'll go into southern France and then back.
Captain Watson, the founder and leader of Sea Shepherd, is not only a famous defender of marine life, but also one of the co-founders of Greenpeace. He has been active on environmental and animal rights issues for more than 30 years.
I was raised in a fishing village in eastern Canada, so I saw the damage that was being done by the fishing industry to the oceans way back in the 60s. And in 1969, I became one of the founding members of the Greenpeace Foundation, so I was the youngest founding member at 18. And then in 1977, I set up the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society because I didn't want to protest this, I wanted to intervene and stop it.
Since the age of 9, Captain Watson has been actively involved in preventing animal exploitation and continues to be a leading voice for the protection of marine life. I used to witness the seal hunt when I was young and was appalled at the cruelty, he says. We need to act now to protect marine life, otherwise the oceans will die in our lifetime.
We will lose more species of plants and animals between 1980 and 2045 than we have lost in the last 65 million years. That rate of extinction is unprecedented, and we as one species are responsible for that. The oceans are dying in our time, and if the navies of the world had any sense of responsibility, they'd be protecting the oceans. The problem is that we have all of the rules, the regulations, and treaties we need to protect the world's oceans and marine wildlife in them, but we don't have any enforcement.
Well known as the police force of the seas, Sea Shepherd's ships protected whales, dolphins, sharks, seals, and other marine species. It is the only organization that enforces existing international laws across the vast oceans in defense of our ocean co-inhabitants.
We've been able to shut down illegal whaling operations all around the world and intervene against the Canadian seal hunt. We confiscate hundreds and hundreds of miles of illegal longlines and drift nets. We're investigating illegal smuggling of shark fins, and basically we're acting like a policing force in a way, upholding international conservation law in accordance with the UN World Charter for Nature.
The Sea Shepherd Conservation Society is always at the forefront of endeavors to protect our marine ecosystems. Its ships serve pure vegan meals to their crews, and approximately half of the 33-member crew members on each ship are vegan, with the other half generally converting to a vegan diet after eating the meals on board. We've
run the ship as a vegetarian vessel for many years, but only since 2000 as a vegan vessel. So we have no dairy products, no animal products at all, and it works quite well. You don't have to be a vegan to join the ship, but you are a vegan while you're on the ship, and we try to set an example. People get to experience it, and if you can run a ship on a vegan diet, then you can certainly do it at home.
Excellent. When we look at the current state of the environment, of the ecosphere, we see dead zones in the sea, fisheries collapses you've talked about, dangers for the biodiversity. What's your assessment of the current state?
I think that we're looking at a very dire and serious situation. The oceans are dying in our time, and we're going to have to come up with some very aggressive strategies in order to stop this continued diminishment. And that means some very radical moves. We have to declare a lot of the ocean off limits to fishing. I think that we have to abolish commercial fishing. It's taking too much out of the oceans without returning anything. And it's like a big bushmeat trade, you know. If Africans go in and kill chimps and elephants, we get all upset about it. But there's no difference between that and going out and wiping out the sharks and the tuna. So they're all wild animals that they're wiping out.
The current state of our oceans is an urgent wake-up call for people to rethink their dietary choices. As Captain Watson says, veganism is the most ecologically positive lifestyle we can adopt. Up next, we will speak with Kim McCoy, Executive Director of the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society, who has witnessed astounding evidence of the current planetary crisis. Please stay tuned to Animal World, Our Co-Inhabitants, here on Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to Animal World, Our Co-Inhabitants. Kim McCoy, Executive Director of the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society, speaks with Supreme Master Television of the organization's ongoing work.
This year we will be going back to the Antarctic, to the Southern Ocean. We're going to continue to go down there every year until the Japanese stop illegally killing whales in a whale sanctuary there. We're also going to increase our efforts to protect sharks, and specifically in the Galapagos, where we have an office and a presence year-round, but also elsewhere in the world. We're really active with our Shark Angels project, trying to educate people about the fact that sharks are not monsters, and there are countless reasons why we need to care about the fact that 100 million sharks are being killed every year. Another focus, of course, will continue to be the SEAL campaign. We'll also continue our efforts to protect the dolphins. Every year about more than 20,000 dolphins and other small cetaceans are slaughtered in Japan and other countries. We'll continue to focus our energies there as well.
Through her travels, Ms. McCoy has seen firsthand the devastation wrought on ocean beings and the marine ecosystem.
So you've been on a mission in the Arctic, and you've seen the states of the Arctic Ocean and the ice banks. Have you seen any global warming hints or signs?
Absolutely, especially out on our last campaign in the Southern Ocean. Anyone who doesn't believe in climate change hasn't been down to the Antarctic or up to the Arctic, or there's evidence of it. If you're a scuba diver, you see the evidence in the bleached corals. I see it in the national parks like Glacier National Park or Mount Kilimanjaro, which I climbed a few years ago. These are areas that once had huge glaciers, and the same as the ice that should belong in the Southern Ocean. It's much smaller chunks. The animals are suffering as a result. They don't have the resting places that they once had, and you can see the evidence all around. Especially over the last few years, it's escalating at a rate that's really frightening.
Is there anything we can do against global warming?
One of the biggest impacts that can be made against global warming and climate change is to adopt a vegetarian or vegan diet. It's astounding the amount of greenhouse gas that's created in livestock production in factory farms. And in fact, and this is something that Captain Watson often says, a vegan driving a Hummer has less of a global footprint than a meat eater riding a bicycle. It's as simple as that. It's just simple mathematics, and scientific evidence is coming out, is being released that's highly credible from credible institutions that supports this information. People need to wake up to that fact and recognize that the greatest impact we can have and the greatest way to reduce climate change is to adopt a vegetarian or a vegan diet.
Kim is a vegan herself, and she encourages everyone to adopt the same lifestyle in order to save our beautiful planet at this critical period in history.
I think eating a vegan diet and living a vegan lifestyle is critically important. If not a vegan diet, then at least a vegetarian diet. There are direct correlations between the foods that we eat and the impact that that has on the environment. Captain Watson frequently points out is the fact that more than half of the world's fish in the oceans are actually being harvested or stolen from the oceans to feed to factory farmed pigs and cows and chickens. We really as a society need to stop and think about what we consume, what we put into our bodies, and the impact that has on the oceans and the rest of our planet. Be veg, go green, really use your skills, be active, believe in yourself, go out and try to make a difference. Every one of us is empowered to do that, and we have an obligation to do that. So do everything that you can.
Please tune in again tomorrow for Animal World, Our Co-Inhabitants, with part 2 of our program featuring the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society here on Supreme Master Television. Up next is enlightening entertainment, right after noteworthy news. Farewell for now.